Dog Gadgets live.
Hello. No. Hey, there we go. Hey everybody, Pete here. Amanda is out at TCEA, which is the, I believe, Texas Computer Education Association. So she's at a show with Josh and Dave. And they left me here, and I said, well, I'll just stream without you guys. So we're going to give this a try. As you can see, there's no Amanda over there. But you know what, let's switch to our overhead view, see what that looks like. Hey, look at that. I look different too. Turn my mic back on. So these are a bunch of the 3D printed parts that we make, and I figured I would just talk about some of those today. Any of these parts that we create either go into our kits, or they're things that we use, or we give them away, and we make all the files available because we want you to be able to print your own. There's nothing special or proprietary about them. Some of them actually came from ideas from other people that we kind of refined and tweaked along the way, like we do with everything we do. And hey, if it's your first time here, Brown Dog Gadgets, that's us. We're a small STEM company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Been around, I think, 14 years now. We do a lot of stuff for schools, education, museums, libraries, any sort of hands-on making involving circuitry, solar stuff, things like that. I mean, you've probably seen the website. If you haven't, check it out. And I'm supposed to tell you that you can follow us on these amazing social media accounts to see what we're up to. So these videos often go to all these things. YouTube has kind of an archive of all of our live programming, and then Amanda's been doing a ton of like short content. So quick, simple things showing different projects we have. If you've ever looked, let's jump over here, at learn.browndoggadgets.com. That's our project database. So we have hundreds and hundreds of guides, lesson templates, downloadable things, all free. You don't even need an account. In fact, you can't sign up for an account. It's just there for you to download and view and enjoy. It's all the support material for our products and our projects, and we just want to make that available to teachers and educators with sort of no barrier, nothing sort of in the way of getting to that stuff. So, since it's Tech Talk and I'm Pete, I figured I'd go through some of our 3D printed stuff that you can see on the table here. Let's do this. I'm going to jump to, if this works. Hey, there's two of me. Now there's one of me. Okay, so what you're looking at is our website, which is browndoggadgets.com. If you go to learn.browndoggadgets.com, which you can get to by clicking on that projects and curriculum link. Excuse me. Amanda never coughs or needs a drink. I don't know. Me, I'm no professional. Anyway, what you'll see here is our Brown Dog Gadgets project database. So again, this is where we have lesson plans, curriculum, support material for all of our products and projects. So if I jump over like Bitboard Rover, you will see all these guides on things you can do with our rover. So different ways to control it, different parts and programs and whatnot. But today, I just want to jump into this 3D printed parts section. If you watch the stream normally, you've seen Amanda holds up some of the 3D printed stuff, which you can see. No, right there. You can't see me, but you can still hear me. So these are a bunch of different things that we 3D print. So let's look at, there I am again. Our website, learn.browndoggadgets.com, and we'll spin through some of these parts. So we started years ago, we started making these because a lot of our stuff is Lego based. It's either brick based if you're working with the crazy circuit system that we have, which is sort of what we call a brick based electronics environment. So it uses our maker tape. Oh, you can't even see that one. Anyway, it says I love maker tape right there. Maker tape is a nylon conductive tape. You can see it. Hold on. Hey, it's down there in the middle, on the bottom of that orange thing. Let's jump back. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, so the brick-based electronics platform is Crazy Circuits. And then we also have our rover, which is more of I guess I would say beam-based. It's similar to Lego Technic. So if you used beams and pins to put things together, that's what that's all about. So we just kind of started making things that kind of worked with that. So this is sort of an older one. But the idea was sort of a little piece that would snap onto a Lego base plate, and it would hold a little to a AAA battery holder. Very simple, just a little way to kind of tidy up your projects. Very simple. As we've gone along, we've seen a lot of other things, made other things, like this is for holding a distance sensor. This one was for holding a GoPro to some Lego. And some of these older parts, they don't always fit great. Lego has sort of a high tolerance for fitting things really well, great friction fit. And some of our old parts aren't the best. We were mostly printing those on some Creality Ender machines, and quality wasn't always amazing, but we mostly made things that worked. Some of our newer parts are like this, which is a battery holder that actually has holes in the bottom that accept those Lego Technic pins. So for each of these parts, we kind of give you a link to download it. We show you what it looks like. There's a little extra few bits on, like, hey, some tips and tricks, showing you the part, if you're going to assemble it in some way. And so this part is actually one that comes with our rover. So if you get our rover kit or a classroom pack or something, and you lose one of these or somehow someone manages to break it, you can print another one. Or you can just print it for your own projects. If you need to mount, say, a battery pack onto some Lego Technic compatible system, that'll work. This was a fun one. This one actually are these little bins that are stackable. And I based them on Gridfinity. If you've ever used Gridfinity, it's these tiny little like modules that fit into a tray and you can stack them. So Josh asked for a stackable tray, and he said, hey, why don't you throw our logo on the bottom? So we did that too. This one is actually, I think, the size of, it's like a 2x2 Gridfinity container. So we kept it the same size, and then you can see the logos in there. You can print it without the logo. That's optional. And whenever we do these kind of two-color prints, we always do the logo in black, the object in a lighter color, and then we just lay down, I think, 2 or 3 layers, so it's like 0.4, 0.6 layers of black. So it's minimal color changes. It just have to change color a few times on those first couple layers, and then the rest of it prints really fast. When we got our Bamboo Lab printers that could do multicolor, it didn't really interest us at first, but then we saw some of the interesting things you could do and kind of looked for interesting ways to apply that without being very wasteful or time consuming. So these actually fit perfectly for a stack of Post-it notes as well. So that's kind of a fun one. You can download that, print it. Where's another interesting one? This one was from years ago. Josh asked for a gripper, like a Lego Technic gripper that could just be 3D printed in a few parts. We have built various grippers, and we include one in our rover kit. But this one's kind of neat because it's as simple as we could kind of make it with just those 3 different parts. And I think think we had a guide on that one. I don't know if we did. All of our parts usually have a link to a GitHub page in the repo for all our 3D printed stuff. So over here, all our files. There's the gripper. And we typically try to put these on printables.com as well. And I think we were putting them on Thingiverse for a while. I may have to get caught up on that. Not everything is up to date there, I would guess. By the way, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. I will hopefully see them and I can respond to them. Get rid of that. Okay, let's look at a few other neat parts. Oh, this was an interesting one. I had these Omni wheels years ago, but they didn't fit on they weren't Lego compatible basically. So we just kind of designed this part that would, bolt onto it and make it compatible. So we did do a project around that. I think we did basically like a Lego base plate with Omni wheels. So that's one of the projects you can find as well. And I think we eventually got some other Omni wheels and made like a little hub for it. So you could put a 360-degree servo directly on there. So that was another fun one. So we just took that, and it came with this part which didn't really work well. So we ended up just doing our own, as we sometimes do. And again, we just have ideas. We make these things and we throw them out there a lot of times. So as I mentioned, like the battery holder is part of our rover kit. This is part of the rover remote kit. But then anything like this is actually something that we laser cut in-house out of 1/4-inch acrylic. But it's just a 2.5D profile, So we basically put the file out there and like, hey, if you want to print your own, you can do that. Again, if a part gets lost or broken, you don't need to call us or email us and say, hey, can I buy that one part or can you mail it to me? If you've got access to a 3D printer, just download it, print it, easier for everybody. Oh yeah, same with our rover remote. So we sell a rover remote kit, which has some electronic parts. It has a laser cut, actually it's 2 laser cut pieces that look like this. But you can also just print it as a single file because we don't need to do any weird laser cutter. You can only cut. You can't really etch out a pocket. You can, but it's not really easy or practical. So once again, just one of our laser cut files, we can easily make a 3D file of that, make it available for people. That's a fun one. Oh, the microbit holder. I think I'm sure it was Josh's idea because it usually is. But he was looking for something to kind of put the microbit into to act as like a little holder, sort of like a game controller. And the way this works is there's a kind of pocket in the back for the battery pack, and then you can put the microbit in here. We have a few projects where you hold the microbit and the battery pack and use it to control the rover by sort of tilting it and pressing the buttons. And it's a little difficult to do because you got to hold the battery pack, you got to hold the microbit. So we came up with this where it's kind of a little piece. You can hold that, you can press the 2 buttons, you can tilt it around, and that battery pack just fits in the back. So nice, handy, simple little print. Again, just trying to make things easier for everybody. This one I really like this one. The 3D printed component holder is what I call this. And this is probably one of the most complex ones. So what is a component holder? We used to, if you look at the old, we used to try to slide like any of our parts that are mounted on a PCB, like just into this little 3-sided open thing. But then we came up with this method of kind of having kind of like a little vise where it slides in there. You can make your own custom whatever. there's an open SCAD script, so you can download that. It's just a text file. It's free. It's open source for everybody, and you can make your changes. So I kind of walk through how you do that, and there's different things you can set, and it walks you through kind of setting the size. But again, you're trying to make something that is what we'll call Lego compatible. So the way we do that here, if we see this photo, on the bottom of this are 2 Lego bricks. So we found it's easy to or easier to jam some bricks into the bottom of this and then just mount that whole thing on like a Lego base plate. So yeah, this kind of goes over that whole thing. And there was, the idea for this came about, I'm going to forget who had the original. I probably have a link to it somewhere. But someone posted this little similar device that could hold like a PCB for if you're soldering or whatever. And I saw that and I was like, that's a great idea for holding like these various components. So here's a bunch of uses for it. So like holding a relay or temperature and humidity sensor, a little OLED display. Again, anything that has like a PCB and can fit in the little grooves, and you just wrap a rubber band around there. Again, really simple, kind of just making things easier. So besides that, we actually posted like all the different ones. So like here's the one for the thumbstick. So you can just download that if you use our thumbstick or similar thumbstick, and use that. So that's a fun one. All the tape roll holders, I think Amanda shows off on every stream, which are super handy if you've heard us talk about these or not. So the rolls of maker tape we have, if they can kind of unspool because it's not tape like a roll of masking tape. It's tape where it has a backing on it, so you can cut it off in strips. The problem is it's not sticking to itself, so it can kind of become unraveled. So this is, version 5, which is basically like two parts. It's the base and then these 4 clips. So you drop the tape into there, put these clips on, and it basically prevents it from unspooling. It doesn't need to keep it like tight or taut. It's mainly just to prevent it from coming off the roll. So, or slinkying out, as I think some people have called it. So that's a fun one. Yeah, we've gone through many versions over the years, basically testing it live at trade shows and events with teachers and watching people use previous versions and saying how they got things tangled or how it confused them or whatever. So a fun thing is, a couple of years ago, probably when we were on version 1 or 2 or 3, we're at a trade show and a guy picked one of these up off our table and he said, "Oh, you guys use these things too? Yeah, these are great. Yeah, I downloaded these and printed them." We're like, "Yeah, we made those." He's like, "Oh, it's you guys? Oh, wow, that's great. Hey, thanks for sharing that." And we're like, "That's why we're here, man." So that was kind of funny. What else do we got? Ooh, this is a good one. So this one, I tried to come up with a way to like a pin remover because we were streaming last summer and every now and then, a pin goes, a Lego Technic pin gets in something and it's really difficult to pull out. And people say, "Oh, I just use pliers." One person said, "I use my teeth." We're like, "No, please don't do that." If you use regular pliers, there's a really good chance you're going to crush that pin and destroy it because they're just thin plastic. So I forgot where, I think I was looking for, again, I don't know. I look for everything every day. That's what I do. But I found some guy who made a pair of pliers like this, 3D printable pliers, for like a Molex connector on some like some computer thing, like to remove a pin. But it was an open SCAD script. So I'm like, ooh, let me see what I can do with that. So I modified it. Yeah, here's the original, the over-engineered JST connector pliers. So the guy who wrote this did a really good job. It's a really nice design. Prints in 2 pieces, and then this little clip goes in place. And he even made the code nice enough that you can adjust sort of the tolerance of that clip. So you should probably print it in like PETG. We print it in PLA. So I had to tweak the settings for that clip to be able to get it in without like bending it too hard or sort of flexing it and breaking it or whatever. Anyway, so I took his design and I just kind of modified it so that end part could hold a Lego pin. The whole thing is printed in plastic, so it's a little flex to it, but you can squeeze it pretty tight, and it works pretty darn well for getting out a Lego pin. So that's that one, and I did provide that link there. And I think I even left a message for the guy thanking him for posting that, because that's a really great design. What else do we got? This is a new one. I just got this up today, actually. I have that here. I can demonstrate. Okay, so this is a motor crank handle. If you've ever seen these little yellow motors, they're common if you do electronic stuff, but they have a shaft coming out each side. And as you probably know, maybe not, if you have a motor and you put a battery on it, it'll spin. But if you put a crank on it and spin it, you'll generate electricity. So we kind of wanted a very simple generator. So what we did was design this little handle, and it's in two parts, and it snaps together, which was a nice, fun challenge, sort of. And the reason it's two part, we originally made a really simple one that was one part. And as Josh was spinning it, he said, it'd be really nice if this handle rotated when you spin it. And I said, Josh, I got you. So we did one in two parts that snaps in place and then spins around, print in whatever color. This is the, excuse me, this is the one part we have where you really do want to use supports, just because of the design of that, because it has to snap in. So there's a little video here. Assemble, see if this works. Press it in. That's it. Very simple. And then here's how to use it. So when we first got this put together, we connected it to a voltmeter to see how many volts we could kick out. And I think I hold the record for 7 volts in the office. I think Dave got up to 5 or 6 and then hurt himself or something. I don't know. But as you like crank this super fast and slightly violently, you can definitely light up an LED. You can get a little fan going, anything that, runs on a few volts, or if you're like me, 7 volts, because I'm very powerful, I guess. Anyway, that's a fun one. What else do we got here? Ooh, a tape holder. We did that one. It's mostly, this one. This is a good one. So originally, I made this as just a single battery holder, and I did this because I'd always just grab a multimeter and try to put it on the ends of the battery to see, if it was still good or it was dead. But then you're like holding 2 probes and you're holding a battery like this, which is a nightmare. So I made this little holder that you would put the battery, and then you just put the probe tips on the ends where that maker tape is, because it's making contact. And hey, I can tell how many volts are left in this battery. That's why it feels so light, because there's no volts left in it. They're all gone. Anyway, I realized that I could do one with 2 or 3 or however many and make a battery holder. If you've ever seen a little black plastic battery holder, they're everywhere. They have little pieces of metal and springs. So we just do the same thing with maker tape. Now it's gonna work. Hold on. There we go. So we just do it with maker tape, which is a nylon conductive tape. You just wrap it around these holes. Works like that. The bottom, and then here's some ideas for working it into paper circuits. And I think, let's see if this works. Yeah, look at that. You just press it in. It's amazing. Oh yeah. Cool. anyway, there's a, can't see it here, but there's a slot on the bottom so you can press those batteries out easily. There's a bit of a warning because of me. So at one point, I had some batteries loaded up, and I stacked a few on top of each other, and then I smelled some what we call burning, smelled the burning. Yeah, because I shorted out the batteries. So it started to sort of burn the tape and melt the plastic a little bit. So all this red text over here, it's all the warning signs, all the warning labels I had to apply. But I think this one, I can't remember if I made this one parametric or just made a bunch of different, I think there's a bunch of different ones for AA and AAA. Yeah, so it kind of shows how that works. But that was kind of a fun project. And again, we do a lot of these things. Pause. Talking nonstop here. We do a lot of these things because Josh knows that, or he's told us that often teachers will have a 3D printer in their classroom or in a STEM work area or whatever, and they don't really know what to print or what they could use it for. So we've tried to create a bunch of fun things that, you know, are related to what we do, hoping people can print these things and find them useful. Pen holder is another one which goes with our rover. So a very simple little print, holds a marker or a pen, attaches to the back of the rover. I think I'd have like yeah, I didn't get too in depth on like linking to everything in these because they're really just about grabbing the part. But there's our rover. I don't know if there's a shot. There's the pen holder on the back. So yeah, again, you get one in the kit if you lose it or break it or you want to print more. Cool. We got the files for that. Download them, print them. It's all good. Oh, at one point I printed a little cable rack to hang a bunch of alligator clips, and Josh is like, put that on the website. I'm like, okay, cool. So if you need to hang some alligator clips, you can do that. It's all good. Oh, the arcade button enclosure. So this one is actually part of a game or quiz show or game show system we built, which I think Josh uses with the people in his neighborhood to run a quiz game. Anyway, so this is a multi-part print. You assemble it together, top, bottom, center, or whatever it's called, and then you can put it together, put a button in there, and then most of our projects are not soldering projects, but you would have to probably solder wires on here. You could try to do this whole thing with maker tape. It might be a little dicey unless you insulate it. I mean, it's doable, whatever. So yeah, this version just is like has the wires come out and then you can tape it down sort of thing. Like, hey, if you want to incorporate this into like a paper circuit or something else, all good. You could do that. It's all doable. No questions, comments. Yeah, you can leave a comment, ask a question, and supposedly I'll see it. Nothing yet. All right, we'll leave that alone. And it's been like almost 30 minutes. It's probably time to end this soon. Did I miss anything? Oh, the battery. Battery holder is a favorite. There's a funny story around this one. I was out. I was either sick or out for like a few days. And when I came in, Josh is like, hey, I found this little battery holder online. So I printed it. And I was like, cool. And I said, Josh, I don't know. This could use some tweaks. And he's like, okay, we'll tweak it. And I told him, I was actually working on a battery holder, but I kind of like this thing. So I saw the file, or I saw the print that he had, and I was like, okay, let me tweak this and come up with my own version, which I did. I did that I did an OpenSCAD again. That's what I use. But the idea was it is parametric, so you can make one that holds 5, 10. I think, let's try this. Over on the left, you can see one that holds like 25 batteries or something. I don't know. I made it basically as large as would fit on the printer, 45-degree angle. So it holds a ridiculous amount of CR2032 batteries. But yeah, you can get the OpenSCAD script. You can adjust sort of the distance between them, etc. And the batteries, Josh likes this. We'll see if this works. They snap in there, so they don't fall out if you tip it over. You have to give it a little push from the back. And this is one of those design things where, like when I did this, it made perfect sense to me. And then I showed it to Josh, and I said, check this out. He loves that little click. You push it out from the back. And then we brought these to like events. We put them on the table. And people would invariably, whatever that word means, try to pull the battery out. And we'd go, oh, hey, you just got to push it from the back, from the bottom. And that would make sense, but then the new person would come and they wouldn't know that. So what we did was I started adding little labels on the side that says, push battery out from bottom. So we would use those versions at events. So people would hopefully read that and know that you could just pop it out. And the funniest part is, when Josh finally gave me the link to where he downloaded it, I looked at the file and I'm like, hey Josh, I know this guy who designed it. And he's like, of course you do, because I know a couple of people. So I looked at the original code. I'm like, oh, he did make it parametric at least, but I tweaked it. I did a lot. I like my version. We're not against using other people's stuff. We just make our own stuff. So I think that's it. Is there? Oh, this one is not even something we designed. Basically, we use these little boxes, black boxes with the orange little snap thing. So a teacher, I think, emailed us and said, hey, I love your little storage containers, but we lost one of the little latches. So I found one online and I printed it, and we're like, cool. So I think, or maybe he designed it, I don't remember, but he sent us the file, and we're like, cool. So we figure we'll throw it up there in case, again, you ever lose one or whatever. That is about it. Okay. So yeah, that's our techie talk, tech talk, not TikTok, that's totally different. Anyway, we just want to cover some of this stuff today. Tech Talk with Pete. Sorry, Amanda will be back next week, so you're just stuck with me today. I can do this again tomorrow. If anyone cares, if you're interested, let me know. Drop a comment, or I don't know, do something. Or just don't tell me not to, and then I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. I could talk about, we have stuff you're not seeing here, which I designed a bunch of jigs that are 3D printed to help with assembly of some of these things. I think that's kind of cool. I could actually load up some models tomorrow and show some of that stuff. It's more sort of 3D printing related things, but yeah, that's about it. I don't know how to end this. Usually Amanda's here. Okay, so I guess that's it. Once again, check out, we'll do this. Hold on. That one. There I am. New background. It's max headroom. Anyway, visit us at browndoggadgets.com. All of our guides, lesson plans, curriculum, blah, blah, blah is at learn.browndoggadgets.com. You need help with something, email us. You can also call us. Phone number is on the website. We are here, like 9-ish to 5-ish weekdays. That's Central Time. I keep hitting the desk. Follow us and all that jazz. We love maker tape. We do not love copper tape. It's garbage. It's just garbage. People always say throw it away. I say no. Find someone doing stained glass. Give it to them. I forgot. I didn't get any sound effects today. Let me make up for that. Okay. That's it for today. Probably see you tomorrow. Goodbye.